All right, welcome. I want to pull together a little week 8 recap to sort of talk about all kinds of different things. Anyway, so I'll get to it, maybe. Apparently my slideshow is not going to work its normal way. So, a little agenda here. We're going to talk about exams 2 and 3, exam work, retakes, grades, project, calendar, that kind of fun stuff. So, exams 2 and 3, first of all. Thank you. I'm still checking work and checking videos for partial credit. I know that's kind of wild, but it's been a little difficult. The grades for those will show up in WAMAP when they're adjusted. You might see comments in Canvas also, like check this. That exam work, I'm expecting it to be the work you do as you take the exam, and I kind of need to see correct answers for full credit or like a slight mistake. You should be doing things the way they're taught in this class. This is going to apply especially to the project. And then make sure you're checking your feedback from the exams. Sometimes, in the interest of time, believe it or not, I've just been putting how many points are earned. If you're interested in having a conversation, oftentimes it doesn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes to talk about an exam with a student and explain what you missed. So I'd love to do that, especially if you're thinking about retaking an exam, which sort of segues into my next one. I don't know if you noticed there. Spreadsheets. You should be using Excel at this point. If you're not using Excel, Modules 7 and 8 will be exceedingly difficult, and you really should be using the app or the program, not the online version. Sometimes that bogs down bandwidth and really makes honor lock recording rough. So retakes. I think I said this earlier. I'd love it if you talk to me about your first exam attempt before you took the second, but I know that might not always be possible. So that'd be best. It'd be really good if you got some feedback, and I don't always leave a lot of comments on there just in trying to get them all done. So I'm hoping to allow retakes this week and next. So that's weeks 9 and 10, which I know 10 is a short week. I'm happy to work with you as much as I can on that. Really, one retake has been allowed. And so if you missed an exam, that would often be the one that you retake since you didn't get a score for it. Something like that. But just talk to me if you have questions about those. So again, weeks 9 and 10 is when I'm planning to be around for that as much as possible. And again, one retake is allowed. With the retake, I can't find a way to make the system work to just give you another attempt. So I actually have to delete your first one. So if you delete one and then do worse, you'll actually get that score just because it's hard for me to track all that data. So be mindful of that. You should at this point really know a lot more so that any previous one you would be able to do better. But just so you know, that's the case. Grades. Your grade for this class is in WAMAP. Now, I know I have a lot of grades that haven't been transferred over, and I'm working on that, but I've tried to put something from the categories there so that those spaces are filled. The projects were 10% of the grade, and that's still upcoming. So if you're not super happy with your grade, let me know. There's still a chance to get a 10% sort of like, not actually a boost, but 90% of your grade categories have been filled in. So one more is coming, and then they'll all be there. For that. And the project is usually really good if students are willing to put in the work to do it all. The last day to drop is coming this week. I think it's Wednesday. Anyway, so just be mindful of that. And then projects. I'm going to have an announcement coming soon, and so soon here that I just thought I would integrate it into this one. So I'm going to pop over here to the project. I'm not 100% sure that this is exactly how it's going to go, but I do know this is how the first parts are going to go. And these timelines had to be adjusted a little bit just to make things fit. So they might be kind of close. Just let me know if those don't work for you. But we're going to look for an article with a claim on the internet that you can collect data on and test. So that's the first part. And the important things here, you need to have the null and alternate hypothesis in terms of what we use in statistics, and the question that you ask is really important for that survey. So I actually have kind of an example here. Found an article, actually got sent to the math department, and in this article it's talking about students and algebra, and if I go down here it says why it matters. It says in 2020 just 6% of first year students at UCSD placed below Algebra 1. By 2025, that number had surged to 18%. So, out of this, I kind of have a claim, and if I went over, I think I started a Word document. Your first submission, you need a link to the article. So I have a link to the article, the claim. 18% of students placed into Algebra 1. That's the claim from the article. The null hypothesis. This is a proportion. It's equal to 18% as a decimal. The alternate. This is also here going to be a proportion. Now, there wasn't something claimed here in the article, so I could choose whether I want to test to see if I have less than, greater than, or more than. Well, less than, greater than, or not equal to. So I'm going to just choose greater than 0.18. And I'm just making up the alternate hypothesis. If your article has one, that's great. But I'm kind of walking through the steps here. So I've got my link to the article, my claim. If you want to make it really easy, you could actually type claim here. Okay, I hit caps lock. Let's train right here. And then I have my null and alternate hypothesis, and then my question. Now, this is probably not one you want to do, because students might view this as a loaded question. But I want to test if students placed into Algebra 1. So, did you place into Algebra 1, which isn't even an option here on this campus. But I would need to make sure I ask this to first-year students when it comes to surveying, because that's what this article is about. Anyway, so these parts are really important for setting up the foundation. If you don't have the right question, it's really hard to do the rest of the project and get it correct. So I really suggest you run this by me. You can do it as an email if you like. I'm really, really happy with any of these parts of the project to give you feedback before you submit it. So you could make this, email it to me. Hey, does this look good? And I'll try to return those as quickly as I can because I want you to do this. And then the next step, we will collect the data here. We'll get there eventually. You'll collect the data. Now there are lots of things about data collection. We're just looking for you to get a data set. So it could be a Facebook survey, it could be convenience, it could be asking friends, but you do need to make sure it's sort of reflective of what you have going on in your article. Again, if you have any questions about that, then you'll submit the data and we'll analyze it. Anyway, so that's kind of how that goes. Hopefully that's some help on that. Again, if you have any questions, please ask me, and I'd love to help here with that. The calendar, I have it updated now. It wasn't letting me load when I checked it as a student, so please let me know. The question really was, I had a problem where Tuesday of Thanksgiving said there was no class, and we actually do have class. So I just made that a work day for our project. So going over to the corrected calendar, I kind of added in here the last day to drop, Wednesday, that was there. The project due dates, I just kind of added those. And then again, this here was, it said no class, but we actually do have class that day. So please, again, let me know if you have any questions, if things aren't showing up. And I'll kind of keep you posted as this goes. So I think that kind of might wrap up my recap. I wanted to talk about the calendar. We got that. I want to say thank you. Thank you for your patience. I haven't returned things as quickly as I wish this quarter. I have some family things going on. Anyway, so please, I'll try to be kind to you when you have those things show up, and I ask that you would be kind here too. Oh, last thing. There are some evaluations or observation things that students can fill out for me. If you guys can make sure and do that, that's really helpful for me in the process. I don't get to see them until the quarter is over, but that data is really useful. And if we can get up to a high percentage, usually 80 or 90%, something like that, I can give you guys some bonus points. Again, that information is good for me. So those surveys should be in. It probably pesters you every time you go to Canvas. Please fill those out. Thank you again for your time and for your kindness, and we'll see you. Please ask any questions. Feel free to communicate, and look forward to helping you as we finish this quarter strong. Talk to you later.